Okay, what I'm going to say here is probably a bit controversial, and that is, it's okay to give up. Yes, you heard that right. It's okay to give up. When you look up any motivational videos on YouTube, you will hear the phrase, never give up a lot.
あともうちょっとのところなんだから。俺だってこのマイナス10度のところ、しじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ。絶対やってみろ。必ず目標達成できる。だからこそ、never give up!
In fact, I even made a video on how not to give up so easily some time ago. So, am I contradicting myself? Isn't persistence a virtue of being successful? Now, let's look at this image. Well, most people will probably think it's a shame for that person at the bottom. If only he could work on it a bit longer, he'll hit the jackpot. Well, call me pessimistic, but when I first saw that image, what came into my mind was, what if there was nothing in the other end? Not giving up means he'll dig a deeper hole, and God knows what could happen inside the tunnel. He might be dehydrated. The tunnel might crumble and trap him if he didn't leave earlier. Well, the thing is, being persistent doesn't always come out smelling of roses. In my opinion, if you want to become successful or happy in life, knowing when to give up is equally, if not more important, than knowing how to stick to your goal. So, how to tell it's the right time to give up then? It's $1 million question, and I'm going to share my approach on how to decide between giving up or keep going whenever I feel lost. Hello everyone, if this is the first time you come across to my channel, my name is Keith So, and I create content about career empowerment. If you found my video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss out. Of course, what you do has to be effective. It's common sense, but it's not as simple as you think. Always remember that people can change, the market can change, and the environment can change as well. That means what has been working yesterday might not work today. It's also possible that what you have been working so hard on has become less and less relevant. Say you want to learn how to make animation, then it will be a huge mistake to spend lots of time studying Adobe Flash. Why is that? Because this product will reach its end of life at the end of 2020, so it will be deprecated and it will be useless no matter how good you became. Well, forgive me if that example is a bit nerdy, but it illustrates the fact that you need to make sure your direction is right. Otherwise, might as well just give up because it will get you nowhere. So there are 3 things that you can do to find that out. First will be take a step back and analyze the situation from an objective perspective. You can go fancy by using tools like SWOT analysis to find out where you're at in the broad scheme of things. Or if you find it too overwhelming, justify your reason of being persistent of doing what you do. If you don't have a legit answer, then maybe it's time to give up. The second approach is benchmarking. As the wisdom saying says, if you can't measure it, you can't improve. To know if you are on track, you should be keeping records of your performance often so that you can compare. If you're not seeing even the slightest improvement even for a few months, then maybe you're not built for this. Or maybe you should try a different approach. The third thing that you can do is to get a perspective from other people. When it comes to listening to advices, you may want to be more selective, as I mentioned in this video. But it doesn't harm to gather other people's thoughts so you get to see things that you might have been overlooking. So what I said earlier will be a few good indicators if your approach is working. That being said, even you might have all the checkboxes ticked, it doesn't mean you have to stick with it. You might have heard of stories where someone has a prestige job. Everyone is so jealous of his achievement, but somehow he gave up everything and pursued his passion. When people ask him why, he probably say things like he wants to leave no regrets, or he wasn't happy with his old identity, etc. You know what? I didn't quite understand, but as I grow older, I start to see the reason behind it. I still remember back in my 20s, having fun was all that mattered, whereas now I'm more interested in personal development and building a personal brand. Maybe in the future when I have a family, I'll focus on making them happy. As time goes by, our priority will change as we move to a different stage of life. It's natural. There's no need to be ashamed of giving up. In fact, it's probably correct to move on. What even worse is, you hold on to it because of your ego. You thought you are persistent, but in fact, you are stubborn. It will only get you nowhere and you probably feel even more miserable. That's why it's so important to have inner conversations from time to time so that you know what really matters to you. Now let me repeat again, it's okay to give up. Giving up doesn't necessarily mean that you failed, but instead, it could be a strategic move that makes you happy and successful. But of course, you need to find the balance and don't use that as an excuse of giving up prematurely. You shouldn't be giving up because it's too hard or too stressful. Usually when you have thoughts of giving up, it's because you are struggling or feeling lost. To begin with, you should find out if your approach is effective. To get a brief idea, you should try these 3 things, and they are analyze the situation, benchmarking, and ask for other people's opinion. And even if you're making progress, you also want to make sure what you do align to your value. Listen to your gut. If other things matter to you more, it's okay to change your priorities. And that's pretty much it. Whenever you're feeling you want to give up, go through the thinking process I've mentioned. And if you find this working, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on my future content. And again, I'm a career empowerment coach. If you are feeling unmotivated or struggling at work, book a 30 minutes clarity core session with me for free and see if we can figure something out. Details at the description. I'll see you in the next video. Signing off.